Hey, what's up, guys? Jake here getting back at some Fatal 12. We walked Naomi to the train station. We're back at Lion House. Let's make some coffee. Let's go. Okay, great start. Here we go. Like I said, we're in our room not making coffee. You know, I gotta admit, I'm surprised just how fruitful our efforts today have been. It goes to show how little I'd been thinking about Divine Selection before talking to Naomi about it. Yeah, it's almost like we're a useless piece of shit and Naomi's a genius. It's gotten me to question my own life. I still can't say for sure whether or not it's right for me to want to survive. Of course it is. That's how life works. However, I can say with certainty I don't want to leave my friends and family upset over my death. That's enough motivation for now. I'm sure Kiko has the same resolve pushing her forward. In fact, hers is probably stronger considering she has a baby. I was told I lost my parents in an accident almost immediately after I was born, so I'm not sure what it's like to experience the warmth and love of love, I guess. Wow, that's really shitty. I'm sorry. The other thing I have to go on is when my gran spoke to me about my mom. Her expression showed an entirely different kind of love from that she holds for her granddaughter. Alright, enough thinking for one day. The more I consider Kiko and her situation, the more empathy I feel for her, which makes me think of her even more. What I should be doing right now is casting my emotions aside and gathering as much info on her as possible so I can fucking murder her. Even Naomi's pushing herself to do what she can for my sake. Last thing I want to do is let that go to waste. My priority right now should be to get some rest. Why'd we say half that line out loud and the other half in our head? Who knows? Thus I crawl into bed and close my eyes, and then die. Shit, do we actually? Okay, here we are. It's fine. That's not how you spell house. Don't lie to me. After school, Naomi and I come back to Lion House together again. Kiko's never approached me after that one night. You know, she probably realized I now know her name. Right. What is her voice? 140. Right. 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 I don't know about that. There it is. I fucking got it. Right! I assume she's aware of the potential risk in approaching you again thanks to that, too! Let's do this! After I ensure my book is in my bag, I guide Naomi to the hospital. And we fucking pull the plug. Done! Easy game, easy life. By the time I reached the lounge, I realized I never did ask Naomi how she plans on approaching Kiko's family. Even without me there, it doesn't change the fact she's just a randy high schooler to them. I highly doubt they'll be willing to share private information with a stranger like that, but it's worth a try. Fortunately, the lounge is on the same floor as Kiko's room, so I'll be able to hear Naomi scream should anything go wrong while I wait. She isn't quite as clumsy and shy in front of me anymore, but this is Naomi we're talking about. I can't help but worry about her. I know she said she'd do her best for my sake, so I trust in her kind of a little bit. Not at all. She fucked up immediately, I'm sure. After some time passed, a man in his late 30s passes by me. I assume it's Kiko's husband, try to avoid eye contact. Why would we assume it's his husband? There's probably a lot of people in this hospital. I move my gaze to look outside the window, waiting for his footsteps to fade. Rinka? Ah, fuck, you startled me. Being approached from behind like that caused me to yelp, but no one seems to pay me much mind. Naomi's voice sounds somewhat gloomy. Welcome back. How'd it go? My heart's gonna explode, for one. As for actual information, most of what I learned will only help narrow down the possible causes. So you didn't learn anything specific, you useless piece of shit. Right. It seems she's always had a frail disposition, but no particular diseases to speak of. However, she's been entering preterm labor on a consistent basis, which eventually led to a premature birth via emergency C-section. The child had to be admitted afterwards, so both of them have been in the hospital for close to 3 weeks now. That overlaps with the timing of Divine Selection. The books we were reading yesterday mentioned preterm labor and premature birth. Premature birth is when a baby is born prematurely, and preterm labor is when you enter labor prematurely. Yeah, I know, everyone can understand those words, they're not difficult. The mother suffers from constant pain and bleeding during this, so she has to be kept idle and relaxed as possible. I guess things took a turn for the worse, which led to her needing a C-section. How'd you manage to get that much out of him in the first place? I told a little white lie. Her tone is more hushed than usual. It's probably why she seemed a bit gloomy afterwards. I told them I noticed her whenever I'd come to visit my friend who'd also been hospitalized. I said I was worried about her, but felt it would be rude to ask her about her situation directly. I also said I would bring her some flowers soon. That eventually led to them telling me what I just told you. Naomi? She looks like she's ready to cry. She pried information from Kiko's family for the express purpose of murdering her. Knowing how kind of person she is, there's no doubt she's beating herself up over it. All I can do is grit my teeth. She did this for my sake, so I can't give her some half-hearted consolation. Thinking it'd be too risky to discuss things further here, we make our way back to Lion House. Man, we really got the good intel here. She probably died during childbirth. Yeah, we know. We dived right into discussing her cause of death upon our return. Wouldn't call it a bright conversation. Hardly surprising, but both of us make sure not to comment on it. I read yesterday that premature birth and C-sections place a significant strain on the mother as well. She might not have any noticeable diseases, but she still had a frail disposition. Put two and two together and... blood loss seems most likely. Book doesn't react. Fuck me. I can't tell if it's because I'm wrong, or if it's because I'm not going through the proper process with the correct information. I was pretty confident in that conclusion after discussing things with Naomi, too. No reaction. Does that mean we're wrong? That's impossible. I'm fairly certain her family would have beaten about the bush if she had a specific condition, though. The fact they didn't means she really doesn't. I grabbed some books we checked out of the library to make sure we haven't missed something. Naomi does the same. I come across something relevant quicker than expected. This is it. She died reading a book. I point to a page detailing one of the leading causes of death during childbirth. It's described as being caused by an artery in the brain bursting, which leads to internal bleeding in the surrounding areas. So would you call it blood loss? Not only does it impact your sense and consciousness, but it can lead to death should a tumor become big enough to put significant stress on the brainstem. The reason this can kill you is the brainstem is really fucking important, actually. Most cases of death during childbirth can typically be traced back to this.
That makes a lot of sense, really.
Oh, it started shining.
Wait, really? I can't see anything.
Oh, cool. My book starts to shine almost immediately after I come across that info. Naomi doesn't seem to be able to see it, so I explain what it does when you successfully turn information into a card. The light congregates once again and gives birth to a new card. Ew.
Oh, there it is!
I guess she can see the card itself and what's written on it, though, just like the others I possess. I assume it's got something to do with the fact that giving them physical form means their existence becomes reality. I place the card on the table so she can read it. Written on it is her cause of death, a brain hemorrhage. This is it, huh? This killed her. She gave birth to her child only to die of a brain hemorrhage. Yep, she died of a brain hemorrhage after giving birth to a child. We know. The fact that her child's in the hospital means that its birth wasn't undone at the beginning of Divine Selection. In that case, it might be safe to assume Kiko didn't die during the process, but sometime after. Can't say I feel pleased over having made some progress, in all honesty. I'd actually say I feel worse now, having learned the circumstances behind her death. Naomi likely feels the same way. I don't think there's any other way to explain the complex facial expression she's making right now. I have to be the one to break this awkward silence. We should find out her regret while we're at it. I notice I've stopped referring to her by name. The worst thing I can do is let myself feel any attachment to her. I know for a fact I'll regret things later down the line if I do. This is what happens when you learn the circumstances behind someone's death. Well, there's no arguing it's related to her child, at least. Is she worried about its future? The book doesn't react. Playing the guessing game won't get us anywhere.
I agree. We should make our way back to the hospital.
You don't want to guess that her regret is that she never got to hold her child or talk to her child or watch it grow up. Somehow we make it all the way over there without considering the notion that there's no way they'll let strangers in to see the newborns. Neither of us are too surprised, though.
Sorry. Part of me realized this would happen, but...
We might need to go about this another way. Let's steal that baby.
But you say the next round is tomorrow night, isn't it? If we miss our opportunity, then it's likely that both her and the other participants will be working even harder to find out information. We should do as much as we can now.
I know you're right, but shit, I'm not taking a baby. I guess I get where she's coming from. None of the other participants have approached me so far, so right now I'm best off focusing on her, both in terms of efficiency and to prevent my own info from being dug up. It's 7 p.m., so visiting hours will end in an hour. We won't be able to stick around much longer. I honestly have no idea what else we could try. Also, why would looking at the baby help?
I'll speak with her personally. She may suspect me, but I'll do what I can to pass myself off as someone else.
She tells me to wait here as she gets up, ready to run off. I try to stop her, but all I do is cause her to trip over her own feet. Classic. Sorry, that's my bad. It was funny, though. Fortunately, that fall brings her back to her senses. I tend to act impulsively, and it looks like Naomi's the same way. In fact, she might be even worse than me. Especially when you consider how quickly she made her decisions, both in regards to helping me out and learning how to brew coffee. Oh, shit! You two do realize you're in a hospital, don't you? I feel a chill run down my spine the moment I hear that voice. Yeah, me too, dude. I'm kneeling down to give Naomi a hand, so I stare upward and into her face. You're... Kabuchi Kamiko, the very person we've spent the past few days investigating as much as possible. Why is she even here in the first place? It's the hospital she's in. We made sure to discuss things on a different floor from the floor her room's on. This works for me, though. I was in the middle of looking for you, Shishimi Rinka. The tone of her voice is chilling, but her saying my full name out loud makes it ice cold. I step forward in an attempt to keep Naomi from her line of sight, but there's no way she hasn't noticed her. Your little friends seem to have a lovely discussion with my husband. It must be nice having someone to cooperate with you. I can't find an appropriate response. You have a husband. Much like our first meeting, I risk putting myself in danger if I say anything without thinking first. Oh, there's no need to panic, Rinka. I just wanted to discuss things with you. Discuss things? Okay, you talk, I'll listen. There's no doubt the discussion will be regarding divine selection. No, I think she wants to talk about sports. A few moments later, I nod my head.
You can't!
You may leave. I'm only interested in Rinka. Don't worry, dude. If she just wants to talk, that's fine. Like, what's she gonna do? She can't murder me, I think. I nod reassuringly at Naomi, who looks worried sick over the situation.
Even so, be careful.
I already said there's no need to panic. I'm not here to hurt her. I just want to talk. How about we go to the lounge upstairs? It should be rather empty at this time, and I'd much rather not discuss things in my room while the patients are around. As for your little friend, she can wait right here. I'd hate for her to try and eavesdrop. I follow her after that, leaving Naomi, who looks worried as ever behind. Once we reach the lounge, she directs me to take a seat and walks off. Okay, bye. She returns shortly after, a can of coffee and a bottle of water in her hand. Oh, that's so nice. Here, take it. I accept the coffee, unable to hide my surprise. There must have been a vending machine close by, but should I really take this when she's technically an enemy? Don't worry, it isn't poisoned. We might be in a pretty unbelievable situation right now, but that doesn't change the fact that those kind of substances are rather difficult to come by. That's not, I wasn't thinking. Relax, I understand. Or rather, frantic during our first meeting. I have frightened you. Having heard that admission from her, I take a sip of the coffee. You fool, I poisoned it. Heh, quite the gutsy one, aren't you? I did poison it, you idiot. I figured you were just working part-time at that cafe. But you actually live there, don't you? On the second floor, I believe. I don't answer. Nor do I question how she knows. It's an easy conclusion to come to when you know both my name and Lionhouse. Was coffee the right choice, by the way? I figured you'd like it, all things considered. I do. Thank you for the coffee. Still, I can't bring myself to thank her for it. Oh, shit, I fucked up. I thanked her for it. She seems to have expected as much since she gives me a slight grin before taking a drink of her water. First of all, allow me to apologize. I've poisoned you. I was in a panic back then because I only knew your name. Not to mention the fact that this man in the dream world got hold of mine while I could do nothing but sit in the hospital. Are you not doing well? Really? She's in a hospital. She's not doing great. Is that your sly attempt to learn my cause of death? She stares me right in the eye. It's clear to me there are several more layers to her when she's calm. This is what an adult looks like. Well, it's likely you've already learned it by now. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so focused on my regret, considering that's the hardest piece of info for any of us to get our hands on. Were you listening, like, the whole time? Oh, here and there. I was thinking you noticed me doing so at some point. We really should have gone back to Lionhouse first, just because there were plenty of people here during visiting hours. Didn't guarantee we wouldn't be caught. Either way, I'm not here to try and scare you, so let's drop that subject. The main intention is to propose we both stop digging up info on one another. Fuck off. You're just upset because I'm winning. What's that supposed to mean? Exactly how it sounds. You give up on your little information hunt, and I give up on mine. In other words, a ceasefire of sorts. Oh, like you said, I know both your name and your cause of death. Yes, and I happen to know the exact same details regarding you, so we're certainly on an even playing field. Makes my proposal all the more appealing, no? Wait, how do you know my cause of death, you fucking liar? My surprise spills out when she reveals her hand. When did she find that out? I never got the impression she was digging into my life. I even tried looking up when that fire broke on the train, but the event itself has been undone. In that case, she either had the card from the beginning, or she heard my discussion with Naomi at the park. Still, I made sure to check there wasn't anyone close enough to overhear us when we were there. Wiretapping, maybe? No, that doesn't make sense. We had that conversation in public. The wind's pretty strong at the park, so you'd need high-tech stuff to counteract all that interference, too. That leaves the former, then. I still find it hard to believe she'd just conveniently end up with 2 of my cards out of the total 36. Don't forget I can easily spread your info among the other participants, or even use it as a bargaining tool. That goes for the man who now knows my name, too. She's really worried about that guy, huh? Not that I blame her. He's the type of person you'd encounter normally. Meanwhile, she looks more confident than ever. But something feels off. That's all I can think as I stare at her. She is lying. She doesn't know. Are you telling me the truth? Is there any reason for me to lie in a situation like this? Yes. What? Obviously. If I have your cause of death and you don't have my cause of death, I'm 1 point away, you're 2 points away. Checkmate, bitch. If you're that concerned, I can show you my cards if you'd like. Of course, you'll need to show me yours in exchange. Trust is of the essence here, so I need you to. Sorry, no thanks. I say it loud and clear. Not just to sell my own nerves, but to make sure I establish some leverage on my own. You asked for my cause of death when we first met, so it's safe to assume that your starting cards didn't include that info. And I find it hard to believe you could figure it out between then and now. Not to mention, I'm still fuzzy on the details of my own death. Even if she did manage to listen in on my conversation with Naomi, there are too many unknown factors for her to get a card out of it just like that. I got a hold of it through channels you're not aware of. What sort of channels? Oh, just talk it up to an adult's resourcefulness. The dark web, I guess. I detect a slight hint of panic in her tone. It's enough to convince me. It serves to kill any sense of sympathy I've been holding for her. You know, you sit there and talk about trusting each other while you're fucking lying to me. I'll kill you and your baby. I'm not, I swear. I know that you died. I stand up and look down on her. Her eyes blast open wide as she stares back up at me. It was suicide, right? No, wait, an accident I meant, or fucking I don't know. Sorry, we're done here. I would have considered your proposal had you been telling the truth, but you just had to go and lie. I'm not kidding. Her attempt to gain my trust despite lying to me has drained every ounce of sympathy I had for her. You know she has a baby, right? I no longer care about the things I've imagined her life after learning about how she died. Please don't go. Her voice is full of angst as she tries to stop me. I don't even bother to respond, opting instead to make my way directly back to Naomi. I want to live. I need to make it through. I tried lying to a kid. Oh, God. Our ages are irrelevant. Shut the fuck up. She finally irritates me enough to prompt me to shout at her. This is a hospital. Be quiet. At the same time, I feel my eyes starting to burn for some reason. This is goodbye. I stopped not too far from where we were sitting. I'm supposed to be done with her, and yet I can't help but worry. It doesn't take long for me to realize why. Her exasperated claim about wanting to live was, without a doubt, the truth. That really was risky. I was pretty close to agreeing with her proposal. But our ages are irrelevant. I guess I'm just weak towards people who are pouring their heart out, and also recent mothers who died. After taking a moment to gather myself, I go back to where Naomi's been waiting. Huh? Naomi? She isn't there when I get back. Uh-oh. I decide to wait, figuring she'll be back soon. Little do I expect that decision to lead to the most terrifying situation I've been in yet. Oh, fuck! No, that's shitty. But it's a nice cliffhanger to end this episode on. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next week for more of Fatal 12 with yours truly. I'll see you guys then.